What it is, my people, it's the kid Sincere, your resident Gold Chain Gamer, and I'm back, fresh from San Antonio, Texas, PAX South. It was a blast. I posted a vlog from the event. You can see that right here on this page, but I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about what was waiting for me when I got back. And yes, I am talking about the DualShock 4 back button attachment. And as you know, I am a fiend for controllers. I really love elite controllers. So when I first heard about this, I couldn't wait to get my hands on it. Why? Because it's Sony that's making it, and for the life of me, Sony just refuses to dip their fingers in the elite controller market. Please, Sony, make an elite controller. And they kind of half-ass answered our cries by dropping this DualShock 4 back button attachment. Now this is going for $30. I've been playing with it for about 2 to 3 days. Pause. So I'm gonna give you some of my pros and some of my cons, and just some of the things that I went through while using it, because I've used accessories like this before. In fact, I did a review on the Collective Minds FPS Dominator, and we were trying to create an elite controller for the PS4 and do it under $100 using our already existing DualShock 4. That video is right there in the card above. So I'm gonna compare the two, but first off, I'm gonna talk about the DualShock 4 back button attachment. That's the new item. It's what I've been using for the last few days, and I'm gonna give you some insight on whether you should pick this up or not. First things first, you're talking about the paddles, because that's what most people are gonna buy this for. They're gonna buy it for the paddles on the back. Why do people even use paddles on the back? Well, I'm gonna tell you. It's so you don't have to take your thumbs off of the joystick when you're playing a first-person shooter. So what you do is you assign the face buttons that's furthest away from your thumb to the back paddles. And the DualShock 4 back button attachment does that with this screen, this OLED screen on the back. You can see exactly what button you want to assign to which paddle with this screen on the back. And to be honest, I haven't seen a controller do that yet. Not the Scuff, not the Astro. They either use an app, or you have to hold the paddle and press the button that you want to assign to the paddle and just hope and pray that it worked. Because once you get in game, can you change on the fly? Yes, but who has time to do that in the middle of a multiplayer match of COD? No one. So this is just good because you have that visual cue to know where you assign your buttons. That's one of the reasons I was excited about it. Now, the form factor, that was the questionable part, because there's a big round screen on the back of this thing. Now, a lot of people wanted it to be on the front. No, I don't want no screen on the front of my controller. Sorry. Now, if they put this on the next gen consoles and have a screen in the front, I'd be a little disappointed, because I don't want to look at my controller while I'm playing. It's one of the reasons I really didn't dig the Dreamcast controller with the VMU that was right there smack dab in your face. Was it cool for NFL 2K? Yes. This is just so you can assign buttons to the paddle. I don't have no problem with turning it over and doing it that way. It's fine with me. Now, the issue I have is that it's overly big. I don't know why this screen is so big just to show you what button is assigned to which paddle, because when you actually turn it on, it doesn't look like much. There's not like all these graphics on it. It's simple. And I like simple. Trust me, I love simple. But maybe it's just the tech that's in it, and that's the purpose of the size. You can plug your headset into the bottom of it. It doesn't take away your headset port. So, and I'm sorry, I almost left out that you can use this wireless. And that is a big deal, because the FPS Dominator can't use it wireless. You have to tether it to the console. This, you can tether your controller to the console and charge it, or to get some extra input as far as the lag and things of that nature, but you can also play it wireless when you just want to kick back, relax, maybe play Death Stranding. You might fall asleep, so you don't want to be tethered to the console. It works perfectly fine wireless, and from what I played and my playthrough, I want to say that I played for maybe 3, 4 hours and somehow maintained to keep most of my battery life. I think it dropped 1 bar when I was playing. So yeah, it don't seem to affect the battery much. This is also a new controller that I was using, so factor that in also. If you have an older controller, the battery's worn down, it might drain a little faster, but for me, didn't notice it at all. All in all, I like the DualShock back button attachment. I think it's a worthy addition to the DualShock 4 you already got. It makes me question what Sony's intentions are for the next gen, for them to put this out so close to the release of that console, the PS5, and maybe this will be backwards compatible with that console. Maybe the PS5 controller will have paddles on the back and they're preparing us for it. I would really like that. But what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna compare it to the FPS Dominator, because when I bought this, when I bought the back button attachment, it was sitting right on the shelf next to the FPS Dominator. So you know people are gonna go in the store and you're gonna get a sales associate that might not be of the understanding that I am and say, hey, I want those back button paddles for the DualShock 4. And they say, well, do you want this one or this one? And you got a choice to make. So I'm gonna help you make that choice, since I've had both of these products for a little bit of time and I know a little bit about them. I think I can get you through this. First off, DualShock 4 back button attachment, $30. FPS Dominator, $40. Now we all love a good deal. I know I do. So the $10 difference, there's a reason for that. And it's because the FPS Dominator has mods. I don't use mods. To me, that's kind of like cheating a little bit. Now, some people got a difference of opinion than me. That's fine. I won't call you a cheater, but it doesn't seem fair unless we all have an FPS Dominator. I don't use it for that. I strictly use it for the paddles. And when it comes to the paddles, I like both. I actually like both of these. I do think that the back button attachment is a little more natural feeling because it fits right there in your middle finger, especially if you have your index on the triggers. This sits a little bit lower, right there in the handle of the controller. But I'm good with all of it. It all feels pretty comfortable to me. It doesn't feel like I have to move my hand further back than it needs to be, like when you're using the scuff. Oh my God. I hate the scuff paddles. Yeah, I do. I'm sorry. The scuff paddles do not feel comfortable. But I love both of these. These are really good. If I had to pick, I probably would go with the back button attachment because it just feels a little bit more natural than the FPS Dominator, but neither one is bad. Then of course you have the OLED screen that displays the buttons that's being assigned to the paddles. And with the FPS Dominator, you have to hold the paddle, then hold the button, let them go, and kind of hope that you did the right thing. Sometimes I didn't, most of the times I did. So it's not a big issue. It's not a deal breaker for me, but it is cool to actually see visually what button you have assigned to which paddle. So that also goes to the back button attachment. So then you have the most petty category of all, and that's just how they look sitting on your controller. Because as you see, I like these colorful custom controllers. Yes, the FPS Dominator is nice looking. It looks like a backpack on your DualShock 4, as opposed to the back button attachment. Looks a little oaky on the back, but not bad. It's not like ultra noticeable. The screen is a little, little much, but it's not terrible. But if I had to just go off of looks, I think the FPS Dominator looks better. It looks cooler, especially when it's lit up. But the deal breaker for me, is wireless capability. And the FPS Dominator doesn't have it. So for 10 extra bucks, it's hard for me to recommend this over the DualShock 4 back button attachment. I'm gonna have to take the DualShock 4 back button attachment for the win. And it's also $10 cheaper. So if you see this in the store and see both items sitting right next to each other, the GoldChainGamer would recommend that you go with the DualShock 4 back button attachment. You're going to be able to see the buttons you're assigning to each paddle. It's easy to use. It feels good in the hands. Pause. And it's just overall a better product. It's made by Sony. It's hard to go with first-party manufacturing. It just feels more quality. Not saying that the FPS Dominator feels like bad quality. it works perfectly. I've never had a problem with this. But between being tethered to the console and having the use of mods on it, adding the extra $10, I'll probably go with the cheaper option, and also being able to play wireless is just a deal breaker for me. So for me, it's the DualShock 4 back button attachment for the win. It's a dope accessory for your already existing DualShock 4. Hopefully this leads to Sony getting into the elite pro controller market, because I really love these controllers, as you can tell from this channel. I just like all kind of tech in gaming, and the controllers fascinate me because it kind of alters the way you play games, and it makes you approach certain things differently, especially first-person shooters. So are you getting the DualShock 4 back button attachment? Do you already have one? Do you not care about it, but you have your opinion on what this means for next-gen consoles? Whatever it may be, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you think a friend would like this video, hit the share button. And if you like all of this, subscribe to the channel for more content. Check me out on Twitter at sincere_GCG and on Instagram and Facebook at GoldChainGamers. In the meantime, between time, we all know these things don't make you a better gamer. But if you have a preference like I do to not take your fingers off of the joystick, this is a nice addition to your DualShock 4, and it's only 30 bucks. You're not breaking the bank or spending $200 on a pro controller, so I would recommend it. In the meantime, between time, y'all stay cool how y'all stay cool, and remember, it's more than a game. It's a lifestyle, y'all. I'm up out of here. Peace. Wait, you still here? Well, since you're here, subscribe to the channel or check out my last video. Either way, thanks for watching and cheers, I guess. Now, how do I take over the world? Step 1.